Keep away from me! I have a weapon, and I'm not afraid to use it!
Oh, I don't think that will do you much good now.
Stay back! You disgusting train!
Now that's not a very nice way to talk to your host. I have a name, after all. You can call me Charles.
Charles?
Didn't they tell you my name before they sent you out here to kill me?
No.
Well, that's disappointing. You see, I wasn't always like this, so strong and powerful. In fact, I was once like you, a human being, a small, scared human being, exactly the way you are now. Would you like to hear the story of how I became this way?
A story?
That's right. Maybe by the end, you'll understand why I became like this. And if you do, maybe I'll even let you live. What do you say?
Okay.
It all began on this very island, just 1 year ago.
Young Master Charles, you know your father doesn't like you playing in there.
My name was Warren Charles IV, first and only son of my father and owner of this island, Warren Charles III. But everyone on the island called me Master Charles. My father was a rich man and had purchased a mine on this island, but it hadn't been as successful as he once hoped. And so we moved here so that he could oversee it personally. There weren't any other children on the island, so I had no one to play with, except for my teacher and babysitter, Eugene. Eugene was no fun, so I spent most of my time trying to get away from him and play on my own. Today I was playing in the mines. I loved it there. It was like a maze, full of creepy tunnels that turned this way and that. I could hide from Eugene for hours there. I heard his voice echoing behind me in the tunnels, so I decided to hide and give him a scare. I ducked behind some barrels, but I must have bumped something, because soon the tunnel started to rumble and shake. Pebbles and dust started to fall from the ceiling, and then, with a crash, the whole roof of the tunnel came down. Everything went dark. I thought I was dead. Eugene emerged from the tunnel, carrying my broken body. My father and his personal doctor arrived not long after. My father was crying, convinced that his son was dead. But the doctor wasn't so sure.
I have something. A new experimental procedure that may be able to save the boy. Do it. Anything for my son. I'll spare no expense.
The doctor took me back to his cabin, which acted as the island's medical clinic, too. There, the doctor revealed a special machine he had been experimenting with.
This machine is going to revolutionize medicine. Will it save my son? What does it do? You see, we'll place your son here, and this automaton over here. You mean a dummy? Well, yes, but it won't be dumb for very long. What do you mean? Your son's body is destroyed. He'll die if he stays in it. But I can transfer his consciousness to this. It will save his life.
My father was unsure, but he was so worried that he gave the doctor his approval.
But wait, is it safe? I think so. I've been testing it extensively.
On rats. The doctor threw the switch, and the process of swapping my consciousness into its new body began. I was woken up by the worst pain I had ever experienced, as I felt my mind pulled from my body, transferred across the wires, and forced into this android. For a moment, I couldn't feel anything. But then, as I settled into my new form, I felt my face start to stretch. I was overcome with emotion. and that must have been reflected on the face of my new body, because its face started to twist and change too. It turned into a terrible, wide grin. When I sat up from the table and saw my old body lying next to me, I wanted to cry, but my hard, unmoving, always smiling face wouldn't shed a tear. I tried my best to adjust to what I had become. I was used to being on my own on the island. There were no other children after all, but I wasn't prepared for the reaction I would get from the grown workers. The nice ones would simply try their best not to look directly at me. Others would try to avoid my presence. But the worst were the ones who would stare. They would look at me with a mix of pity and disgust. But there was something more, too. Deep down, I knew they weren't just revolted by me. They were afraid of me.